Hello once again, everyone. Oh man, where do I start here? There we go. Start by standing up and finding my vape. How do we reconcile what we want to do with what we need to do? This is something I've been fighting with for my entire life. I know deep down in my heart that there are certain things that I should probably accomplish that would be simple to do, that I could get done quickly. Things I could do right at this moment instead of making this video. There are certain habits I could quit, such as vaping. Although I justify it because I smoked for 25 years. I've only vaped for a year, so give me a break. What I'm saying here is that I'm a flawed human. I make mistakes. I have errors in judgment. All the years I've spent learning more about myself have also left me with a lot more questions about myself. There's an obligation that comes with learning who you are. And it's a painful reality that you have to live up to. This is the root of the term ignorance is bliss. It doesn't mean that you're truly blissful to be ignorant. It just means that when you're unaware of what you could be, or the capacity that you really have, then you don't know what you're missing. Once you've seen your full potential and you've lived up to it, and you've seen how good you can feel when you're being honest, straightforward, getting things done, you can't ever go back. And this also goes along with the lines of waking up. People talk about this. Waking up to me merely just means seeing the unlimited potential of you as an individual and not being bogged down by the perceptions of those around you and the delusions that are presented to you your entire life. And not getting caught up in the delusions that we set up for ourselves. Because we trap ourselves. We start to think that there's something particular that we need to do in our lives. We start to think, we talk about life paths. We talk about goals. And when people fail at their goals, they can often be distraught. Yet when people don't set goals, they often don't realize what they had, the potential that they had to do something. And that's how I feel sometimes about daily life, as if each day is a blessing. You wake up and you have all these opportunities to do so many things. And it's so true. But sometimes we just don't want to. We don't feel like doing it. Now, I have interests in a lot of different things. Sometimes I'll grab a book off the shelf and I'll just go at it all day, be into it. Sometimes I'll decide I feel like cleaning, and I'll clean for hours on end. Other times, I'll go out and I'll grab some, like the other day, grab some empty nitrous oxide cartridges and make a flower of life design on this huge carpet, just to sweep it back up and throw it away, just like a mandala, like in the Tibetan, monks, and they make these giant mandalas and spend all this time and then just sweep it away when they're done. That's the Stigma. That's what life is. That is life right there. Nothing lasts forever. And this includes this moment that we're in right now. And this is why we feel like we have to accomplish something special, like we should be doing something, as if we should always be working towards these great lofty goals. And when we learn about ourselves and see that these are things we can accomplish, we start to feel guilty sometimes that we're not spending more time doing those things, if that makes sense. And I'm sure some of you can relate to what I'm trying to get across there, which is just that we're humans. We make mistakes. We can set goals and we can try to be very, motivated to get things done, but we're still just humans. And something I've noticed is that many of the people who claim that they are spiritual, if you want to put it that way, are those who spend a lot of time talking about things like the ether, talking about, psychics and things like this. Many of the people that I've talked to and met who are the most into that seem to be unhinged in certain aspects of their lives. In other words, not that it's a negative thing, but that we all have flaws in our character, that we can have strength on one side and be missing some vital aspects of being human on the other side, such as maybe just taking care of our basic things, basic needs, working, being able to support ourselves, or taking care of our health, or making friends, or providing for our family, or treating our parents or our children with respect. We all have these little things, and we justify why we don't do them. And I think that the more we dig deeper into our own minds, the more we can start to see that we do have the power to maximize the moment, the now, and to enjoy our lives to the fullest. But it doesn't mean we always have to be doing something. Sometimes we just want to kick back and watch a stupid TV show, and that's okay too. Like living this reality. If you've ever gone into altered states, such as with psychedelics, and seen how different that reality is, how you're in the same mindset, you're in the same the same mind, but you've detached from your ego, and you've become part of the whole. And then sometimes, when I'm in that state, I'll think, I don't want to return to being an individual. And then something will click. I'll say, of course I do. That's the ultimate state of being. To have my 5 senses. Those are the experiences that have led me to realize that I have no complaints about not being able to see ultraviolet or infrared, or that I can only see a narrow band of the spectrum. I don't mind not being able to hear subsonic sounds or things over 25,000 hertz. I don't mind not being able to feel everything around me, because my senses are just enough to accomplish the things I need to do in my daily life when I'm in my normal state of mind. And only through overloading your senses or removing your senses, whether you take a disassociate or a psychedelic, either one of those can show you the value of this normal, regular, everyday life. And that's what I'm getting at, which is that it's okay to just be. You don't have to accomplish something wonderful. People talk about life paths and life goals, and I think that if you have one, if you're an artist and you dig deep into this particular art, do it. I was talking with my friend the other day, and he said that he feels like he's wasted so much time, and that he's always wanted to just be an artist and to just be able to sell art. And I'm like, well, if you know what you particularly want to do, then do it. Of course, never do it for the money. I know people who have wanted to play guitar to be a rock star, and I'm like, it's the complete wrong reason. You have to. Money is a byproduct, a side effect of your art. If you truly believe in what you do, like for me, I could be a businessman. Like with my kratom business, I could do it as a wholesale type profit making business where I could make a lot of capital quickly, or I could keep it as a very personal artisan type business, which is the way I like to do it, where I'm dealing with each strain individually and person individually and caring about the person. I feel like that's a form of art. Your work is a form of art. Because I'm the same way when I make my jewelry. I used to make a lot of beaded necklaces, and I worked with pheno clay, and all the art things that I've switched between, I've put my most into doing it the best I can, but not expecting to master anything. It reminds me of a line from a Grateful Dead song. His job was to shed light and not to master. I think that we're all kind of like that. That we don't have to show people, look at how great mine is compared to this, but rather, look at what I'm trying to do to add to this whole beautiful tapestry of existence that we call life. And that quote once again comes up, that art is what we use to decorate space, and music is what we use to decorate time. And art, music, aesthetics, poetry, storytelling, this is what makes us who we are. These are the things that make us human. And I think that once we realize that, we start to see that it's okay to be a little flawed. It's okay to not complete our goals or to have bad habits, that we always have something that we can overcome. And it's often a byproduct of the environment that we live in. It's not always our fault, but most of the time when we don't cure something or fix something that we feel is wrong, it is our fault. And then there are people who have a particular thing that they do that never harms them in life. Maybe they can control themselves well, and another person who the first time they do something, let's say the person who smokes a little cannabis once a week, no big deal, and then a person who tries it and they have underlying problems which causes them to overdo it and become less motivated. There's no cut and dry, this should be done, this shouldn't be done. Just like there's no particular, this is art and this is not art, which I have argued with people about in the past. One guy was saying, that's not art. And I said, if somebody created it and it moves you, it's art. And he said it didn't follow some particular, system of art. It's like you're missing the whole point. There is no system of beauty. Beauty just is. It's not always completely in the eye of the beholder, but it doesn't always have to be a physical beauty. It could just be an underlying feeling of beauty that we get when we know we're doing things right, and we know when we're doing things wrong. And a lot of people may say following your heart is silly, but it will usually take you to great places. Much more satisfactory place than logic alone. So it's a combination of everything, right? Talk to y'all later.